For the last many hours, remember, Republic has been at the forefront in getting you stories of people who are still looking for their loved ones post the terrible tragedy that we saw unfolding in Odisha. Many people have lost their lives, leaving behind a lot of unanswered questions. As the CBI is going to be taking over the entire probe, there are crucial leads today coming out. The station master also has been questioned. So for the next 30 minutes, we deep dive into that big subject with our team of reporters reporting from Ground Zero. But first up, the headlines on the show. Sakshi Malik, Bajrang Punia and Vinesh Fogart, for the moment, have rejoined their services, leaving everyone to ask whether their protest is still on or not. There is massive confusion breaking out as the wrestlers are trying a balancing act, and they say they have not quit their fight yet. After insulting India and demeaning the Hindu traditions, now Rahul Gandhi is backing an alleged spy, giving this a free press spin. The CBI all set to take over the investigations. Teams to reach the collision site shortly. The station staff already has been questioned. After the high drama at the Kolkata airport, the Enforcement Directorate now has summoned Abhishek Banerjee's wife, Rujira. And the mafia don Mukhtar Ansari is convicted in a 32-year-old murder case. He has been awarded life imprisonment. So let's directly get you more details on what's been happening in Odisha. You have seen all the relief, the rescue operation, followed by the restoration, followed by the visit of the Prime Minister, all the sustenance that you've also seen from the Railways Minister. Now, the National Disaster Response Force has ended its rescue operation with the withdrawal of all its 9 teams from the triple train accident site in Odisha's Balasore district. This tragedy has claimed the life of 275 people. The National Disaster Response Force rescuers earlier carried heavy plasma, gas cutters. You've seen all this, lifting pads, stretchers, canine teams and other equipment to undertake this entire operation. Now, the crucial question is, what about the investigation? Why did these 275 people lose their lives? Who was responsible? The assistant station manager of the Vanaga station already has been interrogated. On your screens, you're looking at the visuals of the time where the entire restoration was underway, being supervised by the Railways Minister, Ashwini Vaishnav. Now, our team of reporters have been constantly getting us all ground reports, and right now, I will get in 2 of our colleagues, Tanisha and Shivangi, both reporting from Odisha for us right now. And first to Shivangi, who's been getting us a lot of heartbreaking stories of people who are still struggling to find their loved ones, people who've lost their loved ones, and people who are still looking for answers. Now, Shivangi, you're at the AIIMS Bhubaneswar. Again, a place where you've seen a lot of attention being focused. The authorities, the ministries, again and again underscoring that we'll ensure that people get the best medical care. Now, where you are, how many injured people are still recuperating, and what really are the kind of injuries?
All right, a very good evening to you, Deepti, and all our viewers are watching right now, and we can see a lot of activity behind us. We have got all the numbers that we can tell our viewers about AIIMS Bhubaneswar. Now, as we go ahead and come to this area, because the identification of the deceased is still happening. Right now, 3 people are injured in AIIMS Bhubaneswar. 1 is critical, 1 is disoriented, and 1 is stable. In fact, I went inside and spoke to one of the patients. He was telling me he was on the train to Chennai. He was a little disoriented because he had an injury on his head. But all 3 right now in AIIMS Bhubaneswar. Now, this is the identification department where they are helping the relatives find and identify their loved ones. Now, 43 of them have been identified. 100 23 bodies, deceased bodies had come to AIMS, 43 have been identified. Now the effort is on to make sure that the rest get identified. Now everybody, in fact we just spoke to the AIMS medical superintendent Deepti, and they said everybody, each and everybody is being DNA. There's a DNA sample for every body, Deepti. So as we keep showing you the visuals right now, there is a help desk as well. There's a helpline number. All possible help is being given to everybody who is coming here. Let's also not forget that the arrangements have been made here as well, Deepti. There's water, food, everything, because a lot of relatives have come here. Very heart-wrenching visuals. You can see that a lot of relatives have come here. Right behind me there, some of them are waiting for a long time. So there's water, there is food for them. Not just that, everyone is working here around the clock, including all the staff members. You can see right over there, that is a section where they are bringing the bodies in. You can see that the doctors there or the staff there, they are wearing scrubs. So for our own protection, whoever is here, because of the environment here, a lot of dead bodies have come here, so we all have to wear masks here. You can see many people are wearing masks to keep safe, Deepti. So as we keep showing you the visual, let's talk about the CBI inquiry as well. That's a big announcement which has come in. In fact, Dharmendra Pradhan spoke to Republic TV and he said, let's wait and watch what will happen next. But as we continue our live coverage, also let's tell you what exactly is happening in terms of the restoration work that is complete in Balasore. Of course, Tanisha is in Balasore. She has been getting all the details from Balasore. So Balasore itself is seeing a lot of normalcy. Ashwini Vaishnav had announced that normalcy will return by Wednesday, but actually it was already much better in terms of railway movement. Last night, the first normal train movement was seen, Deepti. So as of now, AIMS Bhubaneswar, let's go through the numbers again. 3 people injured, 123 bodies brought in. An effort is on where I am to connect and identify the bodies and hand them over to the deceased ones. Very sad scenes here, but everyone working around the clock, everyone putting in effort to make it happen. Back to you, Deepti.
Absolutely heartbreaking. You know, it's so very difficult to be able to even talk about this tragedy with the kind of mammoth proportion it has, Tanisha. And let's not forget, our thoughts and prayers are with all those families who've lost their loved ones. 275 is not just a body bag number, Tanisha, but these are human lives that have been lost. And clearly there has to be an accountability fixed. But before I come to you to get us more insight into what is the investigation leading to so far, there is a report that our colleague Tanisha has also filed for you a little earlier to be able to sum up what has happened throughout the day, what she has seen, and what we know about the investigation so far. We play that out, Tanisha, and then I come to you.
Sir, how far has the investigation reached? So what is the update? Where is the station master, sir? Has he been questioned? Has he been questioned, sir? Where is the station master? So we need answers. So where is the station master? What went wrong, sir? Who's to be held responsible? Who's to be held responsible, sir? We need answers. How far has the investigation reached, sir? So how far has the investigation reached? Where are the ones who was held? Sir, so the families, the victims' families are seeking answers, sir. So how far has the investigation reached? So you'll have to speak out, sir. Sir, how far? So we're trying to chase him. We're trying to chase the official. He remains mum. There are no answers. So where is the station master? Has he been suspended? Sir, has he been suspended? So you'll have to answer, sir. Sir, 275 people have lost their lives. 275 people have lost their lives, sir. Somebody has to be held responsible.
कमिश्नर ऑफ रेलवे सेफ्टी साउथ ईस्टर्न सर्कल ने इंक्वायरी शुरू कर दी है और वो अपनी इंडिपेंडेंट इंक्वायरी कर रहे हैं। जैसे इंक्वायरी की रिपोर्ट आएगी आपके सिस्टम को बता दिया जाएगा।
सर स्टेशन मास्टर कहाँ है सर? एवरीबॉडी नोज स्टेशन मास्टर कहाँ है?
ये सब चीजें जैसे इंक्वायरी हो जाती है उसके पहले कुछ भी कहना संभव नहीं है, ना ही ठीक है। जैसे इंक्वायरी में से पता लगेगा उसके बाद शेयर किया जाएगा।
Where is the station master? Has he been suspended?
प्रारंभिक जांच अभी चल रही है, इंक्वायरी शुरू हुई है, इंक्वायरी में टाइम लगेगा। जैसे वो अपनी इंक्वायरी करेंगे उसको हम जल्दी से जल्दी पूरा करेंगे।
We are at the Bihar railway station where there was question that was underway with certain people. We did try confronting the officer, but he had no answers to give. And we did try asking him where is the whereabouts of the station master? Where is he? Has he been suspended? Has any action been taken? But as you see, there was no response from the station, from the officer who is investigating this case. Remember, he was just walking. We were trying to talk to him. We were trying to confront him.
And it's important, ladies and gentlemen, to keep asking those questions, Tanisha. They sound very, very difficult right now, but these are questions that people want an answer to. I mean, at the end of it, 275 people have lost their lives. This became their last train journey ever. Something that has shocked everyone. Now, I want to know, what do we know about the CBI investigation so far? When is the CBI officially expected to take over, Tanisha, the investigation? And why don't you also tell our viewers on the need for this CBI investigation that has been ordered now by the government?
Well, the CBI investigation, remember, it was the Railway Board yesterday who in their press conference had recommended a CBI investigation in the case. What has happened so far is that an FIR has been filed, and now the CBI will soon be taking over the case in a day or so. We are understanding that the CBI is expected to come at the accident site tomorrow to assess the situation, to understand what actually went wrong, to take certain people into questioning. Remember, as far as the investigation, if you're talking about the investigation, it has reached to a point where the assistant station manager and the station manager were questioned for several hours yesterday and today as well. The station master's role is of prime importance because of three reasons. See, it's only the station master and the control panel member who can actually alter with the settings, or who can actually know what happened that day. Because remember, when we talk about a relay cabin was used in olden days where people used to change tracks via manual settings. Now that had completely stopped, so the relay cabin had no role to play in it. The locomotive driver cannot change anything except for putting brakes or taking the train at a higher speed. So changing tracks was not in his hand as well. Now who is left? The person who is left, who's under the radar, is the station manager, the assistant station manager, and the person who was controlling the panel at that point of time, because he will know what actually went wrong, who altered with the settings. Was it a sabotage? Because remember, when we're talking about a control panel system here, it is extremely high-tech. So when we talk about a system failure, when a system fails, when that control panel actually fails, what happens is the signal turns red. So all trains running on the track stops automatically. So there are no chances of system failures. Even if there was a system failure, what would have happened is all the trains would have stopped. But that didn't happen. So clearly a signal change was done. A wrong signal was given, because of which the Coromandel Express, which was supposed to travel in the main line, actually entered into the loop line. So these are the questions that the CBI will be focusing on how a train which was supposed to run at the main line went to the loop line and crashed with the goods train. That is the point that the CBI will look into the points of a sabotage angle, a technical glitch, or a human error. These are the specific points that the Central Bureau of Investigation will be focusing on.
So clearly there are a lot of questions right now, and all these questions begging an answer. This is exactly why an investigation is so very important. I thank both Tanisha and Shivangi for the moment, but only to make way for what our colleague Niranjan is getting for us next. Now, like I said, because there are so many layers to this entire story, apart from the tragedy, the very difficult questions, to the response of the government, to what happens next, because we have to ensure that something like this is never ever repeated again, and we never have a loss of life like this. But are we prepared for a situation like that? What needs to be done? Before we get your reports, deep diving into that bit, Niranjan telling us more about his particular seeing of the situation, how it has unfolded, and the investigation that will happen from here on.
We are reporting from the location where the assistant station manager of the Bahanaga Bazaar station, this is the Bahanaga Bazaar station, about 100 meters from here, is where the accident took place on Friday evening. This is the exact spot of the accident. If my video journalist Mukut can just step back a little bit, I'll show you here. This is the exact point where the interlocking and the tracks diverted the train, the Coromandel Express, to another parallel loop line which went wrong, and then the collision took place with a goods train head on. Now, what you're seeing right now are the goods carriages carrying the cement and slabs here, which are being used to relay and restore the tracks. Last night you had a video of the Union Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav making sure that one of the trains passes by to check how well the track has been laid out. The restoration is complete on one line. Their aim is to ensure that by Wednesday most of the work is complete, and this entire track and route is back, so that one of India's oldest and most busiest rail routes is operational once again. Now, as we speak, another assistant station manager is being questioned as part of the investigation. The CBI has taken over the probe, but we are hearing that it's the railways engineers and the board that is questioning the assistant station manager to see what went wrong that evening. Now, primarily two issues, a signalling issue and an electronic interlocking issue are being looked at. The Minister himself says there may be criminal activity, and whoever is responsible for this accident will be brought to book. Now, more importantly, this morning we've picked up details of how in February this year there was an alert, a letter that was issued by a very top railway official warning of how such an accident could take place, adding more weight to the possibility of sabotage. In fact, the letter written in February this year spoke about how they averted an accident involving the Hosudurga railway station, and this was the Sanpark Kranti Express, which due to the alertness of the loco pilot averted a tragedy in February this year. And some of the points flagged back then were how the procedure was not followed by the signalling manager. It also spoke about how anybody could meddle with the interlocking gears without opening the relay room. So essentially it speaks about a lot of technical details, but the crux of that letter was how there was scope for manual intervention in the interlocking. Here, this is the exact point where the tracks meet, with the main line diverts to the loop line as well, and that is what is being looked at. The electronic interlocking and possible manipulation. Now, the investigation will continue. The CBI will take over. Was it a case of sabotage? Can there be sabotage? Going by what we know, what we've been reporting here for the last 72 hours, and the different reporting material that we have at hand, and the letters that have been written, the warnings that were given, it is quite possible that sabotage cannot be ruled out in this particular case.
So 275 lives lost just in the blink of an eye. That is the extent of this tragedy, and that's the reason why we never ever should stop asking those questions. Republic, remember, we'll keep getting you reports and more details on the investigation so far as we make way to head into a break right now. But on the other side, the other story that also has been grabbing a lot of headlines. Could this be trouble for Mamata Banerjee? Mamata Banerjee, once more, remember, is raising questions on the investigative agencies, and she right now is saying that why is Abhishek Banerjee and Ruchira being targeted by the CBI?
The top-ranked Amity BTech attracts some of the most brilliant students of India who get global exposure at the 5-week study abroad program at Amity's global campuses at no additional tuition fee. To apply, visit amity.edu.
One aspect certainly is about to ensure, restoring the main lines, because for the Southeastern Railway, these lines turns out to be very crucial, because otherwise what you're seeing is that on multiple occasions they have had to cancel or divert the trains. 9 NDRF teams are already working, they're operating. There could be a possibility of more NDRF teams brought in. Apart from the NDRF is that the Odisha government has also pressed into action their disaster relief teams, the ODRF. They're already operating here.
number one for the past 6 years. We've broken the biggest stories and reported from where it mattered most. We've disrupted the broadcast news media from India. And now we are coming to digital. Republic on digital this July.
Republic has been number one for the last 6 years. And in these 6 years, you've loved us, you've supported us, you've stood by us. And we at Republic have broken the biggest news stories. We've set the nation's news agenda. And now we are ready for the big disruption on digital. Yes, so that you don't miss a moment of what's going on in the country and around the world. Republic on digital this July.
The death toll has now gone up to 288, that's the official toll. And when asked what went wrong, one of the first outcomes of the initial investigation has revealed that the Kavach system was not available on this particular route. The investigation is on, and the Prime Minister himself has said that they will go through the full details and the complete investigation and hold those responsible and ensure that they're punished. Number one on TV. Now soon on digital. Republic on digital this July.
For 6 years, you've trusted Republic TV with breaking news, views and debates. For the very first time, we're bringing number one news brand on digital. Stay tuned for Republic Digital this July.
Republic TV has been number one for the last 6 years. We've reported some of the biggest stories that matter. We have changed the face of Indian television journalism, and now we are about to do the same on digital. Republic on digital this July. One aspect certainly is about to ensure, restoring the main lines, because for the Southeastern Railway, these lines turns out to be very crucial, because otherwise what you're seeing is that on multiple occasions they have had to cancel or divert the trains. 9 NDRF teams are already working, they're operating. There could be a possibility of more NDRF teams brought in. Apart from the NDRF is that the Odisha government has also pressed into action their disaster relief teams, the ODRF. They're already operating here.
Republic has been number one for the past 6 years. We've broken the biggest stories and reported from where it mattered most. We've disrupted the broadcast news media from India. And now we are coming to digital. Republic on digital this July.
Republic has been number one for the last 6 years. And in these 6 years, you've loved us, you've supported us, you've stood by us. And we at Republic have broken the biggest news stories. We've set the nation's news agenda. And now we are ready for the big disruption on digital. Yes, so that you don't miss a moment.
हाँ निश्चय समझता हूँ। कल रात में अफेक्टेड एरिया को रिस्टोर किया गया। उसके बाद से करीब 50-60 ट्रेन्स अफेक्टेड एरिया से गुजर चुकी हैं। बहुत तेज़ी से नॉर्मलाइजेशन हो रहा है, ऑपरेशन नॉर्मलाइज हो रहा है। साथ ही साथ हम लोगों का पूरा फोकस आज दिन भर रहा किस तरह से पैसेंजर्स के परिवारों तक पहुंचकर बंगाल में, झारखंड में, बिहार में, जहाँ भी हमारे पास सूचना है वहाँ पे रेलवे के कर्मचारी कोशिश कर रहे हैं परिवारजनों के साथ संपर्क करने की। और मैं सभी देश भर में परिवारजनों को निवेदन भी करूँगा कि आपके जो भी आपको सुविधा चाहिए, जो भी आपको फैसिलिटी चाहिए, आप सारे कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर्स दिए जा चुके हैं, कॉन्टैक्ट करें और जल्दी से जल्दी इस आगे बढ़ें।
That's another reaction we've just heard coming in from the Railways Minister, who, remember, has been at site. He's the one who's largely overseen the restoration in exactly 51 hours. But he says we are not giving up yet. There will be questions asked, and he says we will order and investigate the entire incident thoroughly to ensure that something like this never repeats itself.
Republic TV has been #1 for the last 6 years. We've reported some of the biggest stories that matter. We have changed the face of Indian television journalism, and now we are about to do the same on digital. Republic on digital this July. One aspect certainly is about to ensure, restoring the main lines, because for the Southeastern Railway, these lines turns out to be very crucial, because otherwise what you're seeing is that on multiple occasions they have had to cancel or divert the trains. 9 NDRF teams are already working, they're operating. There could be a possibility of more NDRF teams brought in. Apart from the NDRF is that the Odisha government has also pressed into action their disaster relief teams, the ODRF. They're already operating here.
Republic has been #1 for the past 6 years. We've broken the biggest stories and reported from where it mattered most. We've disrupted the broadcast news media from India. And now we are coming to digital. Republic on digital this July.
Republic has been #1 for the last 6 years. And in these 6 years, you've loved us, you've supported us, you've stood by us. And we at Republic have broken the biggest news stories. We've set the nation's news agenda. And now we are ready for the big disruption on digital. Yes, so that you don't miss a moment of what's going on in the country and around the world. Republic on digital this July.
The death toll has now gone up to 288, that's the official toll. And when asked what went wrong, one of the first outcomes of the initial investigation has revealed that the Kavach system was not available on this particular route. The investigation is on, and the Prime Minister himself has said that they will go through the full details and the complete investigation and hold those responsible and ensure that they're punished. #1 on TV. Now soon on digital. Republic on digital this July.
For 6 years, you've trusted Republic TV with breaking news, views and debates. For the very first time, we're bringing #1 news brand on digital. Stay tuned for Republic Digital this July.
Republic TV has been #1 for the last 6 years. We've reported some of the biggest stories that matter. We have changed the face of Indian television journalism, and now we are about to do the same on digital. Republic on digital this July. One aspect certainly is about to ensure, restoring the main lines, because for the Southeastern Railway, these lines turns out to be very crucial, because otherwise what you're seeing is that on multiple occasions they have had to cancel or divert the trains. 9 NDRF teams are already working, they're operating. There could be a possibility of
Good evening and welcome back to this 6:30 p.m. live in breaking from Rahul Gandhi's continued controversial statements in the United States to trouble for Abhishek Banerjee in Kolkata, with the ED summoning his wife and the investigation picking up pace in the Odisha train tragedy. All that and more in this bulletin, but let's begin with the headlines first. Sakshi Malik, Bajrang Punia and Vignesh Phogat leave protests, rejoin services. Massive confusion breaks out as wrestlers try balancing act, say not quitting fight. After insulting India and demeaning Hindu traditions, now Rahul backs alleged spy, gives it a free press spin. CBI to take over investigation, teams to reach collision site shortly, station staff question. After high drama at Kolkata airport, ED summons Abhishek Banerjee's wife Rujira. And Mafia Don Mukhtar Ansari convicted in a 32-year-old murder case, given life imprisonment. Right, wrestlers Sakshi Malik, Vinesh Phogat and Bajrang Punia have resumed their duties at Rail Bhavan. Remember, this comes after Bajrang Punia, Sakshi and Vinesh met Home Minister Amit Shah on Saturday. Meanwhile, massive confusion has broken out with wrestlers trying to balancing act and issuing clarification that they are not quitting their fight. In fact, in the latest, Punia has said that he is ready to quit his job if needed. But then it seems that at least from Jantar Mantar, the protest has taken a break. And so far as this confusion is concerned, it's perhaps because even the wrestlers want some face saver. Let's try to listen into what kind of clarification is coming from their side.
क्लियर है। 3 दिन से लगातार पूरी मीडिया में फेक न्यूज़ चल रही है, हम उनका पूरी तरह से खंडन करते हैं। ये प्रोपेगेंडा प्लीज़ ना चलाएं। हमारा ये आंदोलन, हमारा ये सत्याग्रह लगातार जारी है और ये और बड़ा होता जाएगा। जिस तरह से हमारे समर्थकों को तोड़ने की कोशिश है, ये सब विफल हो जाएगी।
मीटिंग में क्या डिसाइड हुआ है? जो मीटिंग
अभी तक कुछ डिसाइड नहीं हुआ।
मीटिंग में कुछ
डिसाइड नहीं हुआ। क्लैरिफिकेशन क्लियर है। 3 दिन से लगातार पूरी मीडिया में फेक न्यूज़ चल रही है, हम उनका पूरी तरह से खंडन करते हैं। ये प्रोपेगेंडा प्लीज़ ना चलाएं। हमारा ये आंदोलन, हमारा ये सत्याग्रह लगातार जारी है और ये और बड़ा होता जाएगा। जिस तरह से हमारे समर्थकों को तोड़ने की कोशिश है, ये सब विफल हो जाएगी।
मीटिंग में क्या डिसाइड हुआ है? जो मीटिंग
अभी तक कुछ डिसाइड नहीं हुआ।
मीटिंग में कुछ
All right, as reports emerged that the wrestlers have called off their protest, this clarification came in. In fact, we had that soundbite from husband of Sakshi Malik suggesting that the protests in fact have not been called off and that they might intensify even as the wrestlers Sakshi herself and Bajrang Punia and Vinesh Phogat joined their respective assignments with the Railway Ministry. And remember, the protests had gone on for more than a month on the issue of WFI chief Braj Mohan Sharan Singh, who's also a BJP MP, and the wrestlers all from Haryana demanding that Braj Bhushan Sharan Singh should make way and should be sacked on charges of harassment, including in the case of at least one minor who has subsequently retracted from that complaint. And let's listen into what Sakshi Malik said today after she was asked on whether the protests have been withdrawn or not. She spoke to an agency, I believe, the ANI. Let's listen in.
चल रही है कि आपने रेलवेज की नौकरी को दोबारा ज्वाइन कर लिया है और आपने जो है आंदोलन से बैक ऑफ कर दिया है।
बिल्कुल आंदोलन से बिल्कुल भी वापस नहीं हटे हैं हम। जब तक इंसाफ नहीं मिल जाता लड़ाई जारी रहेगी, सत्याग्रह बिल्कुल जारी रहेगा। और रही बात रेलवेज़ की, तो आंदोलन के साथ साथ अपना 1-2 काम, अपनी जिम्मेवारी मैं निभा रही हूँ। तो 1-2 दिन मैं ऑफिस का काम देख रही हूँ। और
साक्षी, ये कहा जा रहा है कि आंदोलन से आप हट गई हैं, अब आप आंदोलन का हिस्सा नहीं हैं, आपने रेलवे की नौकरी ज्वाइन कर ली है 30 तारीख से। कितनी सच्चाई है?
ये मैं क्लियर कर देती हूँ आपको कि जैसे हम रणनीति बना रहे हैं आगे की, आगे हमें क्या करना है और कुछ भी हिंसाजनक ना हो और आगे हम अच्छे से कैसे इस प्रोटेस्ट को बढ़ा सकते हैं, तो उस पर हम काम कर रहे हैं, रणनीति बना रहे हैं। और रही बात रेलवेज़ की, तो मैं OST फर्स्ट हूँ और मेरी बहुत सारी जिम्मेवारी हैं। तो जब तक रणनीतियाँ चल रही हैं, प्रोटेस्ट पे नहीं बैठे हैं, तो मैं यहाँ अपना काम देख रही हूँ।
नाबालिग जो लड़की है उसके बारे में भी कुछ जानकारियां आई हैं कि बयान वापस लिया है।
नहीं, ये सब फेक न्यूज़ हैं। ये हमारे सत्याग्रह, हमारे प्रोटेस्ट को कमज़ोर करने के लिए, आम पब्लिक को हमसे तोड़ने के लिए ये सारी चीज़ें चलाई गई हैं, जो कि बिल्कुल गलत है। हम इस लड़ाई में ना ही कभी पीछे हटे थे, ना ही कभी हटेंगे। जब तक इंसाफ नहीं मिल जाता, लड़ाई जारी रहेगी।
गृह मंत्री अमित शाह जी से आपकी मुलाकात हुई थी, आपकी और बाकी के प्लेयर्स की। कब मुलाकात हुई? मुलाकात में क्या रहा, क्या निष्कर्ष?
नॉर्मल कन्वर्सेशन थी और कुछ नहीं ऐसा फाइनल सॉल्यूशन निकला। हमारा टिल एंड तक यही रहेगा कि अक्यूज्ड को गिरफ्तार करो, उसके ऊपर सीरियस एक्ट लगे, गिरफ्तार करो। नॉर्मल कन्वर्सेशन हुई थी और कुछ नहीं।
साक्षी कहा जा रहा है कि बजरंग अकेले रह गए, विनीत और आपने नाम वापस ले लिया।
बिल्कुल भी नहीं। हम तीनों एक हैं इस प्रोटेस्ट में, और जब तक इंसाफ नहीं मिल जाता एक ही रहेंगे, और बिल्कुल भी नाम हमने वापस नहीं लिया है।
From up north to down south in Karnataka, BJP MLAs of the state boycotted an all-party meet today called by Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar because he arrived an hour late to the venue. Look at this 1-minute report.
A majority of BJP's Bengaluru MLAs have now gone ahead and boycotted the meeting which was called by Deputy Chief Minister and Bengaluru Urban Minister DK Shivakumar here, and this was mainly because of the fact that he had arrived late for the meeting by 1 hour as well, because there were 6 MLAs of the BJP from Bengaluru present, along with the BJP South MP Tejasvi Surya as well. Ashwath Narayan in particular was quite critical of DK Shivakumar, stating that DK Shivakumar did not respect anybody's time, and he was very arrogant as well, is what the allegations which was put forth by the MLA. But all said and done now, DK Shivakumar has just he's just said that all is well, because Tejasvi Surya was ultimately representing the BJP party, and he had also gone ahead and given several suggestions as well. So now the big question is also with the people asking the MLAs from both the parties as well whether all is well, because ultimately development of the city should not suffer too. But in the coming days, DK Shivakumar also has stated that he will also be calling many more meetings regarding Bengaluru too. With video journalist Bhagat Prajwal Prasad reporting for Republic from Bengaluru.
After the images of a bridge collapse that took place in Bhagalpur of Bihar evoked immediate criticism from the opposition, the Deputy Chief Minister of the state, Tejasvi Yadav, has now said the portions of the under construction bridge were in fact deliberately destroyed in a planned fashion under expert advice, as it had design flaws. Let's listen into what Tejasvi said.
भागलपुर में जो हुआ है, अभी कुछ समय पहले एक बार और हुआ था, तो उसी समय हमने कहा ऐसा क्यों हुआ है, और जबकि हम इसको बनाने के लिए हमने बहुत पहले तय किया था। हमने 12 में ही देखा, अब 14 से काम शुरू हुआ। अब जिसको भी दिया गया है एजेंसी, अब इतना देर क्यों हो रहा? और एक गिर गया था तो उस समय भी हमने कहा था, 1 साल पहले की बात है। अब फिर जब 2 हो ये फिर गिरा है, कल ही हमको पता चला है, तो तुरंत हमने विभाग के सब लोगों को कहा कि जा करके देख लीजिए और तुरंत एक्शन लीजिए। ये कोई तरीका नहीं, अब तक तो हो जाना चाहिए था जी। बहुत हो गया है, देर हुआ है, तो काहे के लिए ऐसा कोई होता है, एजेंट कोई बना रहा है, इतना देर क्यों कर रहा है? मुझको बड़ा तकलीफ हुआ, इसलिए हमने कह दिया कि उसको तत्काल देखिए, और ठीक नहीं बना रहा है तभी गिर जा रहा है भाई। इसका मतलब उसको तो और मजबूती से बनना चाहिए था, बन करके और तैयार हो जाता, लोगों को कितनी खुशी थी। हम कितना पहले जा करके एक एक चीज़ को देख करके कराए हुए, लेकिन जो नहीं हुआ हमको बड़ी तकलीफ है। और अब डिपार्टमेंट अब इस बात को देख लेगा, हमारे उप मुख्यमंत्री को भी ये चीज़ की मालूम जानकारी है कि सब लोग उसको जल्दी से जल्दी, जो नहीं करेगा तो अपनी तरफ से जितना भी जल्दी हो सकता है उस काम को कराने का हम लोग की इच्छा है। बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, कह तो रहे हैं, कल ही तो बोल दिए हैं, जैसे ही हमको खबर जैसे ही मिला वैसे ही तुरंत हमने सबसे बात किया, इसलिए इसके लिए चिंता मत करिए।
IIT रुड़की का ये रिपोर्ट है, पियर नंबर 5 अगवानी घाट सुल्तानगंज ब्रिज को लेकर के, इसमें साफ साफ इस रिपोर्ट में अगर हम पढ़ें तो हम आपको बता दें, ऑन द 30th of April 2022, during a reported thunderstorm and under windy condition, यानी आंधी तूफान के कारण जो है वो गिरा, और IIT रुड़की was approached to investigate the incident to try to come up with technical reason for this incident. और इसमें ये महत्वपूर्ण है कि to review the entire design, इसको आप समझ जाइए कि IIT रुड़की कह रहा है to review the entire design to understand the forces and stresses on all components of the final system, and during construction stages this would be a thorough design check of all documents to ensure due diligence has been done in this area. यानी इस रिपोर्ट के आधार पर बाकी का जो आपका स्ट्रक्चरल जो डिज़ाइन था, खासतौर पे जितने सेगमेंट थे, सबको हमारे डिपार्टमेंट ने तोड़ा। और हमने यहाँ जवाब में भी दो बार आप देखिएगा, विधानसभा के जवाब में भी बोला कि दुर्घटना होने के कारण क्षतिग्रस्त हो गया था, जिसकी जांच जो है आईआईटी रुड़की द्वारा कराकर पुनः उक्त स्पैन को तोड़कर नए सिरे से तैयार करने का कार्य प्रगति पर है।
Those were Bihar Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister suggesting that the design flaw was